And welcome to another episode of One-on-One. I'm Martin Folse. When we come back from the break, we're going to take a ride to Lockport. Not really. Lockport is in the house, and we have the mayor of Lockport, Mr. Richard Champagne. I've never met him, believe it or not, so we haven't met each other. But today we meet each other for the first time on the set of One-on-One. We'll be right back.
Did you know that there are more than 180,000 amputations annually in the United States? The majority of those are preventable. If you have pain in your legs or other symptoms that suggest a problem, you'll be seen immediately at any of our locations. CIS is one of the largest, most advanced facilities in the South with an international reputation for treating peripheral vascular disease and preventing amputations. Call us before you amputate.
What are we having for lunch?
The 10-piece combo, half regular, half boneless, original hot with fresh cut seasoned fries, homemade ranch, and a nice cold Coke. How about you?
New glider sandwiches.
The what?
New glider sandwiches. Perfectly delicious fillets of 100% white meat, sauced in my choice of 9 mouth-watering flavors, served on a freshly baked yeast roll. Oh my God.
I'll have what she's having.
The new glider sandwiches, only at Wingstop.
Together a crew of top specialists, and you can do amazing things. Cardiac care at TGMC. It all begins here.
The Homestead, Homa's newest and most luxurious assisted living community.
Oh, I have friends all over the place here. I've never seen so many people that interact with each other. And now it seems like I know everybody. But everybody is so friendly, and I enjoy it very much.
For more information, visit thehomesteadweb.com or call us at 985-223-HOME. The Homestead on Cottage Drive. The lifestyle you deserve, the services you want.
And welcome back to One-on-One. I'm Martin Folse, and as promised, our guest today is the mayor of Lockport, Mr. Richard Champagne. Mayor, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Martin.
We appreciate you being here, and like I said in the intro, first time I get a chance to meet with you, and prior to the show, we're already establishing that we have common ties, 6 degrees of separation. You know my Uncle Jared Leonard, but you're related to Norbert Richard somehow.
Yeah. First cousins.
All right, there you go. So we cousin-in-laws, through in-laws anyway. Right. But good to have you here once again, and we appreciate it. How the heck have I never met you if you're the mayor of Lockport?
You know, that's a strange thing. I was thinking of the same situation over the last few days when I got the call from here to come. And I said to myself, I know Martin Folse because I've seen him on television. I've heard him speak. I've seen him out in the world at meetings and things, but no one ever introduced us formally. So I never, until now, never had met you.
Well, it's my pleasure to know
same
you
here.
today.
Yeah.
And it just tells me what kind of person you are. If you've seen me out in public, you sort of fly below the radar. You're sort of a quiet mayor, aren't you? You get a lot done, but you're not the old bells and whistles kind of mayor, right?
Right, exactly. In fact, in most cases, I probably shy away from too much publicity. Okay. Not that I do away with it completely, but I won't engage unless it's something important enough.
You don't hear that too much nowadays. A politician or a public servant shying away from the limelight, but you seem to have done it well over the years. What's the secret of doing that?
Well, it's like I said, I don't go out looking for it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that if I wanted to, I probably could attract a lot of attention. But I'd rather work behind the scenes And I'm not concerned about who gets credit for whatever's done in the town. And I'm in my, by the way, I'm about to finish my 3rd term.
Yeah.
And I was a school principal before,
Right.
retired from that. And when Bubba Townsend got out, I ran for mayor, and I won. I was unopposed, actually.
Yeah, and I remember we were in our meetings a few weeks ago, and I said to the staff that we don't hear a lot from Lockport. We need to get more involved in Lockport. They have so many things going on in Lockport, and they're civic-minded people, and they're good people. So we have to bring more people in from Lockport. Let's do this. For the audience, a lot of people know you already, but a lot of people don't know you.
Right.
Take us back to the earliest years you can remember, and tell us a little bit about where it was and how you grew up.
I was born in Lockport, down the street from where I live right now, on 7th Street, about 4 blocks. I'm the youngest of 12 kids, and my father died when I was very young. And I was an infant, so I never knew my father, but my mother raised the 12 kids, and everybody progressed through life quite successfully, actually. And we were very poor because my father he was in business, but during the Depression he had extended his credit too far, and when the crash came, he couldn't survive. He went bankrupt, and so when he died, he was virtually penniless. But my mother seemed to be able to, as the older ones grew old enough to go out and work, they did, and they supported the rest of the family. And we all took our turns doing that. I went to Holy Savior School, graduated from that school in 1949. That'll reveal my age a little bit. And after high school, I went into the Navy. That was during the Korean War. It was in '51. And I felt like going into the service at the time was my only avenue of some kind of advancement in life that might broaden my views on things. Because, you know, growing up in a small town like Lockport and not ever traveling, except maybe driving a bus for a team. We played for White. I played a lot of ball. I was an athlete. Right. And apart from the travels, playing ball and going to tournaments and things, didn't travel very much. So in my mind, going into the service was a valuable asset to me to be able to broaden my perspectives on life. And as it turned out, it was exactly that. I came back a different person. I was very quiet when I went in, sort of very much subdued, not to a point of having an inferiority complex, but maybe kind of close, halfway
Well, you
down
were the
there.
youngest of 12 kids.
Yeah, right.
I guess, now let me ask you the $1 million question. The youngest of 12 kids is always a little spoiled. You don't seem spoiled to me.
No, I wasn't spoiled.
You were brought up tough?
We got the same treatment. I got the same treatment that everybody else got.
That tells me your mom was pretty tough.
She was tough. She was.
She had to be with 12 kids.
That's right. Her word was law, and you listen to her or else.
Yeah.
But with that toughness, she was a very compassionate woman, and she. So when we were growing up, she treated us fairly, and if she had to knock us down a notch, she always came back and built us up a little bit. You know.
Right.
Actually, in my later life, I kind of thought she was a master psychologist, because
she probably was.
She was not beyond the high school level, but she was a very smart woman.
I'm a director here at the Little Theater in Houma. Sometimes I've acted, and I've even played in the orchestra. My name is Karen Schilling, and I was treated for breast cancer at Mary Bird Perkins at TGMC. Quality medical care and compassion should go hand in hand. And I definitely got that at Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. My doctors were incredible, and the technology is state-of-the-art. I believe that everyone at Mary Bird Perkins at TGMC deserves a standing ovation.
What are we having for lunch?
The 10-piece combo, half regular, half boneless, original hot with fresh cut seasoned fries, homemade ranch, and a nice cold Coke. How about you?
New glider sandwiches.
The what?
New glider sandwiches. Perfectly delicious fillets of 100% white meat, sauced in my choice of 9 mouth-watering flavors, served on a freshly baked yeast roll.
I'll have what she's having.
The new glider sandwiches, only at Wingstop.
Did you know that there are more than 180,000 amputations annually in the United States? The majority of those are preventable. If you have pain in your legs or other symptoms that suggest a problem, you'll be seen immediately at any of our locations. CIS is one of the largest, most advanced facilities in the South with an international reputation for treating peripheral vascular disease and preventing amputations. Call us before you amputate.
Hi, I'm District Attorney Joe Waits Jr. Every day we help businesses like this collect on bad checks.
Thanks, Joe, for helping us get our checks. Joe Waits gives us all our money.
Thanks, Joe, for getting our check.
I'd like to thank Joe Waits and his staff for doing a wonderful job collecting our NSF checks.
I'm District Attorney Joe Waits Jr. If you're issued a bad check, we can help.
Mayor, of course, you were the principal of a school, so in order to be principal of a school, you have to have some education behind you. Take us through your education years. Where did it start and where did it end?
When I was discharged from the Navy, I enrolled at Nichols and got a degree in education. And shortly thereafter, within about 2 years, I guess, I went to LSU and got a master's. I knew that was my only way to advance in the education field with at least a master's. And while I was over there, I always believed in Catholic education and wanted to start have my entire career in Catholic education. So I was going to start at Holy Savior in Lockport, the school from which I graduated. And so, lo and behold, during the summer, there was a young nun principal there that had been appointed because they really didn't have anybody else. Not their enrollment, but their numbers had begun to decrease. That was about the time when, just prior to Vatican II, when there was turmoil in the Catholic Church, and so there was a great defection among the nuns and the religious in the Catholic Church. But anyway, so that job was open, and Father Richaud was the pastor at the time, and he called the bishop, and the bishop said, appoint him the principal. Well, I was still at LSU, and so I had taken a couple of administration courses, but I managed to qualify completely while I was in that first summer. So when I got back, I was the principal of Holy Savior High School and elementary. It was grades 1 through 12.
Right.
And so that, besides other fellowships and things that I got over the years, University of Utah, Tulane, different places, but I don't have degrees from those institutions, but
you furthered your education.
I furthered my education because I wanted to, and because it was required, actually.
Right.
You had to do it.
Well, how as a principal did you discipline a first grader, and then 10 minutes later you have to discipline a 12th grader? You got to change plans a little bit, don't you?
Right.
How'd you learn how to do that, or was it innate in you?
It was an innate quality, I think, and sort of like my mother was.
Right.
And knowing when to get really serious. And as a matter of fact, as Shakespeare said, the whole world is a stage and we are the actors on it. Acted the part of a principal, of a serious principal.
Right.
And I was not easily approachable unless you got to, as a student, you got to know me real well. And of course, the students who did a lot of the work in the school, they did get to know me pretty well. And they could see where I wasn't all serious at all times, because
So I'm
really a fun guy.
You know you have students right now watching who thought you were serious all this time, and you telling them you were faking it.
Yeah. Well, I still meet up with a lot of them.
All right.
And they tell stories about what I did to them when they were in school. And I did some practical punishments. For example, I didn't make kids write lines or do anything like that. I did something that was practical. Maybe something, one wall needed a little painting after school, some grass needed cutting or something. I provided what they needed, and I'll see them now. Bruce Simpson always reminds me of
the judge,
one of my students. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, he embellishes everything. And most of them do.
Yeah.
It's a lot worse.
It's always bigger when you get out.
They tell it a lot worse. I was a real tyrant in the minds of some, you know.
But in a way, isn't that good? Because look where they've ended up.
That's right.
One's a sitting judge. And
right.
So whatever happened to good discipline, you couldn't get away with that today making them paint.
I could not. I was still at the tail end of the traditional way of doing things, and keeping discipline, and it was no problem. Now, the other big factor was Michel Clodet, by the way, was another one of my students.
Ah, okay.
Charlotte Randolph was another one.
Well, they both are parish presidents.
Yeah, right. But I would go back and lost my train of thought. We were talking
the discipline,
about the discipline, yeah. And I gave these practical things out, but when I meet those students, they embellish their stories all the time. And Bruce will meet many who, actually I won the Drug Court Foundation in Thibodeau because Bruce wanted me to be on it. He asked me about 10 years ago to do that. And
well, by saying that, I'll drop another name to you that is also, we talked about cousins in the beginning of the program. Thad Toops is my first cousin.
He is? Yeah, I know him well.
Yeah, he's my first cousin.
I'm not related to him, but he comes to the town hall.
And he just won a major award for, for the drug court.
And I was supposed to come to that, but I forgot about it, so I didn't make it. But anyway, Thad comes to Lockport, I think once a month. They have these hearings with the kids that are in trouble in the system. He's on part of that panel, so I see him quite often.
Together a crew of top specialists, and you can do amazing things. Cardiac care at TGMC. It all begins here.
Did you know that there are more than 180,000 amputations annually in the United States? The majority of those are preventable. If you have pain in your legs or other symptoms that suggest a problem, you'll be seen immediately at any of our locations. CIS is one of the largest, most advanced facilities in the South with an international reputation for treating peripheral vascular disease and preventing amputations. Call us before you amputate.
Hi, I'm District Attorney Joe Waits Jr. We're blessed to live in an area abundant in natural resources. The laws are clear when it comes to shrimping in Terrebonne Parish. It is unfair for those who obey the law to be put at a disadvantage by those who don't obey the law. Be fair to your fellow shrimpers. Obey the law.
What are we having for lunch?
The 10-piece combo, half regular, half boneless, original hot with fresh cut seasoned fries, homemade ranch, and a nice cold Coke. How about you?
New glider sandwiches.
The what?
New glider sandwiches. Perfectly delicious fillets of 100% white meat, sauced in my choice of 9 mouth-watering flavors, served on a freshly baked yeast roll.
I'll have what she's having.
The new glider sandwiches, only at Wingstop.
You sort of follow your dream. You go back to your alma mater and you become principal. How do you go from being a principal and in education to being a mayor?
Well, I was at Holy Savior 12 years. 8 of those years I was the principal. Okay. 4 years I was a teacher. And again, that was the time when things were happening. The Holy Savior, St. Joseph and Chauvin.
Right.
We all had to close our doors at about the same time because of lack of funding. You can imagine we had 7 parishes supporting Holy Savior in Lafourche Parish, right. 7 church parishes. Yeah. The priests were not very happy about that, most of them, because they didn't have anything to do with the school, right. Nor did they want to have anything to do with it. So it was a difficult proposition to keep them on board. And so some of that failed, but eventually our charge per student had to be so high that we did not think we would be able to recruit or enroll a sufficient number of students to maintain the quality of education that we had. We were accredited by the Southern Association, which was the only Catholic school accredited by the Southern Association, and we had a real quality school. Mm-hmm. And but then we voluntarily, I was part of the closing group. For the Sonji was a pastor by this time.
Right.
And we had a couple of other board members that worked with us, and we decided on our own that we could no longer operate a high school, so we closed voluntarily. We kept it through the 7th grade at the time. I think now it goes to the 8th grade. And at about the same time, Chauvin had to close for the same reasons. Now, Father Brunet is a good friend of mine, wonderful guy, know him well.
Likes to sing.
Yeah, he likes to sing. His mule tune, whatever it is, he's really good.
Yeah.
So they closed at about the same time. Mm-hmm. We were kind of similar in nature. And then when that happened, I had just built my house, and I had to go. I could have gotten another job at Catholic Morgan City Catholic High School.
Right.
A couple of places in the city. I didn't want to move to the city, and so I decided to go into the public school, or at least to apply, which I did. And it was at the time not the most popular move, because there were many people who had been in the public school for a while who had applied for that job. And when I got it, it was, I got it, I had a right to apply.
Right.
I was selected, so I became the principal at Lockport Lower Elementary. Mm-hmm. It was a primary school, as you know, yeah. And I stayed there about 22 years and finished out my career there.
Right.
I never got promoted out of there because, I'll say because, there are many reasons, one of which was I didn't keep my mouth shut too much.
You were outspoken?
Well, I was outspoken to a point in the areas that, not in everything, but in areas where I thought improvements could be made, or where I requested permission to do certain things in the school and couldn't get.
Are you a perfectionist?
No, not really.
But you wanted the best.
But I wanted the best, yeah. Constant improvement was in the back of my mind just about at all times.
Right.
And so when I was not popular with the hierarchy, and so
right.
So consequently, I did apply for the superintendent's job, and I applied for the assistant superintendent's job. I applied for supervisor of child welfare and attendance.
Mm-hmm.
I was certified in all those areas.
Right.
But other people got the jobs, and I was not. That was fine with me because the decision wasn't mine.
Right.
All I could do was present myself and my resume and let it fall where it may, and that's what happened. All good people got those jobs. Good friends of mine, because we were in the principalship for many years together.
Right.
So, I knew them all very well.
Right.
George Babin and I were at, George Babin, he and I were in psychology classes at LSU together.
Okay.
And we had a great time working over that. We studied together, do everything together. It was a rough course because we were in there with the pros. There was no educational psychology.